for the benefit of all in our community. Please help out those that are in need of a member of the family that is not doing well, and try to alleviate the heavy burden. We ask you to bless our elected and appointed officials so they may deliberate with wisdom and act with courage. Bless the members of our community who come here to speak before council so they state their cause with honesty and humility. Lord, we ask you to bless us all, that everything we do here tonight will move you to welcome us one day into your kingdom as good and faithful servants. We ask this in the name of our brother Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have minutes to approve. Minutes council retreat of March 18th, 2017, the regular council meeting of April 25th, 2017, and the council meeting and work session of May 9th, 2017. Anybody have any corrections?
I do. I was actually present for the council retreat, even though I'm not listed on there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I was there.
Yes, you were there.
Yeah, you were there.
I remember.
I remember you there.
Okay. All right, anything else? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. All right, this is the time for citizens to comment on matters before council. To ask questions of concern to them, when recognized, please come forward to the lectern, give your name and address, and state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anybody? Nope. All right, reports of village officials, the municipal manager, Yvonne Kovac.
Okay, and I think the mayor's actually going to start with a proclamation.
I have a proclamation here. Whereas the National Public Works Week celebrates tons of thousands of men and women who provide and maintain the infrastructures and services collectively known as public works in communities across the country. And whereas public works services in our village are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives. And whereas the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public work systems, programs such as sewers, streets, drainage, parks, yard waste collection, street trees, road signage, etc. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of our village greatly depends on these facilities and services, and whereas this week provides an opportunity to recognize the often unsung heroes of our community who serve the public good every day with quiet dedication. And now, therefore, I, David Moore, Mayor of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, do proclaim May 22nd through May 26th as Public Works Week in the Village of Greenhills. I urge all citizens, all residents, government officials, and employees to recognize the contributions of our public works employees. In witness hereof, hereunto subscribe my name this 23rd day of May in the year 2017. And being quite familiar with the public works operations for many years, our service department employees in this village have done a great job over the years. Citizens have really benefited from the present and past employees in the public works department.
Okay,
Right.
and thank you for reading that. It is National Public Works Week, and we are celebrating and recognizing our service department workers this week. So, and I do want to thank council for helping me with that, and hopefully it'll be a memorable week for them. So thank you, and thanks to them for all that they do. Quick reminder again that we have our operating levy up for renewal, and you actually have the first piece of legislation related to that item on the agenda tonight for passage. That's the piece that allows Matt to go ahead and request the information from the auditor in terms of the projected revenues for the levy. Wanted to go through the Memorial Day observance that we did receive from the American Legion. Yes, 5:30 a.m. is correct. That's when they'll be here, and their post will come out and put the flag down. But the actual ceremony, the parade will start at 11 o'clock and walk down to the Commons. When they get to the Commons, then they have a planned ceremony at that time, so probably roughly a little past 11, but I would suggest being there by 11, so. And hopefully the weather will cooperate because the pool opens this weekend. It's kind of hard to believe it's already here. But the discount membership runs through Memorial Day at the pool. People can be purchasing it. I would like to, after that date, I would like to run in the journal maybe like a $10 coupon to still give people an opportunity and a reason to go ahead and keep sending in those memberships for the pool. Also a reminder, our dedication ceremony for the plaque will be on Friday, June 23rd at 11:30 a.m. We have moved the location over to the Commons. If you can picture, we have a couple of larger rocks there already with plaques, and we thought we would add this with like a walk through that area, kind of, so it's kind of a matching corner sort of thing. Not exactly, but you know, they're on opposite corners. And you will be getting more details on that. We're working on an invitation right now that we hope to get out next week to everyone who's coming. So, tax budget, of course, that process is underway due to the county on the 20th. Matt has already circulated a first draft on that. And I think the hope is to have that ready for the public by June 2nd. And public hearing on June 13th, and that will give council really a month, more than a month, to be reviewing it and refining it and getting it to the county. Okay, I skipped a big item that I want to get back to because I'll talk a little bit longer about this, but at the retreat we had a conversation about the signage for this shopping center. If you remember, there were two, on the second page of your handout is a large sign, which is a topic of discussion tonight. If you remember, there were shorter, much shorter directional signages, signs that we thought move forward with those. My purpose in bringing this up tonight is I'd actually like to get you thinking again about the large one for a few reasons. First of all, when we went down to look at the actual locations for the directional signage, we have poles, guy wires, garbage cans, benches, you name it. I mean, a lot of visual clutter. So these would have to be literally positioned behind those items on both ends, and it just really wouldn't look good. So I'm just not sure they'd serve much purpose. There's also, when we started into this, we originally had council had passed a resolution that they would indeed work with Mr. Rasabi, the shopping center owner, to get permanent signage up there. And one of the main reasons is because I believe it had always been discussed that that was something the shopping center really needed and didn't have, and it was a reason why tenants left, and you know, so on and so forth. He has since, after that point in time, he's been discussing it with new tenants that there would be there would be a larger sign out in front on Winton Road, and you know, so there's the expectation that it will happen. And I would like you to consider, I had told him that this first, which is the second page, that first one was like way too tall. It had an electronic signboard at the top, a lot of stuff really that we don't want at that location. Gave him new dimensions, and he did come back with a second design, which is much smaller, which is the front page. So that's the one, and if you notice, he has changed the Greenhills, back to the Greenhills Shopping Center from Village Gate Center. And anyway, I think we'll resume this at the work session, but if you could be thinking about it and figuring out, you know, the next, if council were to decide to move forward with this, know that our next big step would be to draft a lease to actually lease him the property for constructing this, because it would have to go on village property. So that would be the follow-up step once we agree on the signage.
And are we talking, I'm sorry, one or two signs again?
This would be one sign. And actually, yeah, one sign.
Okay.
I had the service department put one of their trucks up that is approximately this tall,
Okay.
and maybe a little bit bigger, and I'll pass these around to you a little bit so you could see, we shot it from both angles. It's the white truck, like box truck that we put leaves in. And you can see it does really show up quite well. Here's from the opposite direction, this is from the opposite direction.
Actually, it might be, the lower sign might be more effective anyways.
Well, I think it will be.
How
Yeah,
tall our
it
trees
will
are.
definitely be more effective. Even in terms of the height of the shopping center, you know, if you're driving by and the shopping center's basically down
Right.
and you're looking up at a sign, you know, yeah, I think the shorter sign would definitely be more effective. So again, we looked at it from a couple of different angles, and if you recall, the other thing we wanted to do is get that sign where there's a little bit more width on the grass strip, rather than like dead center right in the middle of the shopping center.
I
So,
thought it was,
and that's where you're seeing it in those pictures.
so it would be across from the commons opposed to across from the shopping
Yeah,
center.
closer like to the creamy whip
Right.
end, yes.
Yeah, you're right.
The corner.
It's almost where we're putting the banner now, isn't it?
Well, it's
No,
up
actually,
a
it's
little
not.
further.
It's
Okay.
here's the, it would be like up here. In that area.
Sorry, perspective. It's hard
Yes,
to.
no, I'm glad you asked that, because that's really critical. Yeah, could you point to them there, like right there, right where there's a,
So straight out from where Endicott.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay,
That
so
it?
we'll resume that at the discussions at the work
The
session.
work session, yeah.
All right, thanks. Yes, that's it for now.
Okay, any comments or questions? The manager. All right, moving on. Law Director, not Jeff Forbes.
It's no report today.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Asking for 20 minutes of dissertation? or- Clerk of Council, Catherine Lives.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The May 2017 Community Calendar and Resolution Number 20,017F, 15F were posted as required. Also posted were Swim Safe Lessons 2017 flyer and notice of the Records Commission meeting on May 18th and the meeting cancellations of the Recreation Commission meeting on May 28th, the Laws and Rules Committee and Streets and Services Committee meetings on May 22nd. And if there are no questions, that would conclude my report.
Okay. All right, moving on. Chief of Police, Neil Fertelman.
Thank you, Mayor. On May 1st, Miami University, actually its president, Gregory Crawford, awarded the Greenhills Police Department its Project Civility Award. We are the only police department to be given that award. It was based on our mission and value statement and examples of how our officers interact and treat people with civility on a daily basis. So we were very proud to receive that recognition. Individually, on May 10th, Officer Zach Clark was honored in downtown Cincinnati at the Queen City Club by the Cincinnati Citizens Police Association for his actions in apprehending a murder suspect from Springdale earlier this year. The recognition is in addition to Zach's services previously in the United States Army as a veteran, also serves currently as a volunteer firefighter here. It was a rough month for police officers in the state of Ohio. On May 12th, our badges were all draped with a black mourning ribbon in memory of the line of duty death of the police chief in Ohio. It was a reminder to our officers to watch their training and that bad things can happen even in small communities. We also warned our officers about the case of an Ohio police officer who was nearly killed on May 12th when his skin came in contact with fentanyl. And he had done everything right. He had a mask on, he was wearing double gloves when he processed this very dangerous narcotic that is indistinguishable from heroin and several other drugs. When he got back to the station, he saw a little something on his uniform, went to brush it off. That's when it permeated his skin, penetrated his skin, and it took 4 doses of Narcan to bring him back. He read a couple days ago that he wanted to jump right back on the horse and is back at work and back on patrol. On May 17th, Lieutenant Ward and I went to the University of Cincinnati. We are in a partnership with 7 communities for a crime analysis grant that's being administered by the Ohio Criminal Justice Services. We are planning to set up a data transmission from our computer systems, and we hope to see this crime analysis function operational shortly. Thereafter, it's going to be a very good benefit for us because the drug dealers, thieves, burglars, they operate in all our jurisdictions, so the more we share information, I think the better job that we can do. On May 19th, one of our officers, Zach Clark, again attended the memorial ceremonies in downtown Cincinnati for National Police Week. And also on May 19th, Lieutenant Ward completed for us our application for the Bulletproof Vest Grant for the next 2 years. And that grant will reimburse 1/2 the cost of all the bulletproof vests that we buy. During the month of April, we investigated 10 accidents. That's up from 4 in April of last year. 6 crimes, which is up from 3. 131 other incidents. We made 491 contacts with citizens. 296 of those were dispatched, as compared to 298 last April. 195 of those were self-initiated by our officers. The department provided assistance to the public in 73 instances, assisted other agencies 24 times, made 19 criminal arrests during the month and 60 traffic arrests. Just on a final note, especially for those that might be listening and for those that you can think of that might benefit, we're very excited about our upcoming bike rodeo. It'll be held from 11 to 3 on Saturday, June 10th at the middle school at 147 Farragut. It's a bike safety course designed for ages 4 to 12. Helmets are required, and through a helmet grant, also donations from councilperson Walter Willard, bike helmets will be provided to all who attend at no charge. In addition, we're going to be providing bike registrations for the kids that come and safety checks for all the bicycles. Fire department will be on hand to provide installation of child safety seats. We're all going to get calls because we're going to have 2 helicopters land, one from Air Care and one from the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and the Springfield Township K-9 unit will be available. All of the kids participating will receive coupons for free ice cream courtesy of the Creamy Whip in the shopping center. And the winner of the safety contest will receive a free bicycle that has been donated by Walmart. So we hope to have a lot of kids participate and a lot of fun. So far, we don't have all that many signed up, so if you know anybody that would like to have a fun day, please let them know. Otherwise, I'm a little worried about the 2 kids that are signed up right now. That's $100 worth of ice cream, and I'm not sure it's going to be true. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Comments or questions?
Is there any way to reach out to the schools?
Actually, we've done that. The Primary North sent home over 500 of our flyers to the kids. We've got it on our website, and I think our manager will probably send out a 1 call or 2 before that event.
Chief, I just only wanted to make a correction. I made the donation in memory of my husband, Thad Withers.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I might add the police department where the officer was overcome was the same department that had a picture of the grandparents slumped over, passed out in the car, and the grandson was sitting in the back. So that's in East Liverpool, Ohio, which has a big problem. And so
I think there was a Cincinnati police officer today.
Yeah. Taking a good Sam.
Yep.
He's in good condition.
Wow.
Okay, moving on, Mayor's report. I have court receipts to report. $93 went to Hamilton County, $2,413 to the state of Ohio, and the village of Greenhills received $9,739.90 for a grand total of fines. Court distribution of $12,245.90. And I think that's all I have. Do you have any questions? Okay, moving on. Finance and audit, Mr. Dries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
4 items. First, the biennial audit. The on-site portion has been completed. They may call back with some questions or ask for some additional information, but the on-site portion has been completed. And that's always a good thing to have this. It's always good to have an extra set of eyes on something, and if there's something that we can do better, we certainly want to do that. So we look forward to getting those results. Second item, everyone has the first draft of the budget. Spent some time looking at it. Matt and I have already had our first discussion on it, so we're moving along. Let me give you kind of a little snapshot of where we are finance-wise from April. Our finances are a little noisy or a little lumpy right now when compared to the prior year, and I'll explain that here in a second. Overall, our general fund revenues are $170,000 ahead of last year, and that's primarily about $100,000 of that 170 is due to collection for garbage that's now being collected. Income tax is up $21,000 as compared to the same time last year. Real estate taxes are up $30,000. So those are the big numbers that account for the majority of the $170,000. And overall, our fund balance in the general fund is down about $136,000 from last year, but right on track with where we expected it to be. Our expenditures year-to-date, when we combine the police fund and the general fund, we are in the first quarter, we were higher than the prior year by about $144,000, and that is due to a fair amount due to the police. We purchased a cruiser for $36,000. We're fully staffed, and we're grateful for that. So we had higher employee costs. We have some raises that we were able to get to our police officers. We have a little bit of a timing issue with our garbage payment, which is $22,000 higher than last year. And then service was charged less to the street fund than they were the prior year. And we also had to buy a boiler for the Markport House for $13,000. So there's a little bit of differences that would seem abnormal till you look kind of behind the numbers a little bit. I guess I just let everyone in council know that we're in a good spot from a revenue standpoint, and from an expense standpoint, we're kind of where we thought we'd be. So that's no surprises is always a good thing when you're talking about your expenses and your revenue. And then I have 3 resolutions tonight at the proper time.
Okay, comments or questions? Hearing none. Recreation Cable Television, Maria Walther.
The next meeting for the cable television is going to be in June, so we only met quarterly. For the recreation, we had met for the committee, and it's coming up again quarterly in June. But the commission, I attended the Recreation Commission, and please, Mr. Collar, correct me if I say something wrong. We needed to appoint or to elect whoever is going to be in second in command if you're out of town. And correct me for the pronunciation, Mr. Dorfin?
Okay.
Does that sound like a correct pronunciation? Okay. And he very graciously said that he would be in charge if Mr. Collar has to be out of town. We discussed the possibility of the dog park. We had some information, thanks to Ms. Kovac, that provided to the commission. And we also had other information that was also provided to the commission about it. They discussed, of course, the Harvest Fest and the days of the pool, and there were some recommendations that we're thinking about bringing to the manager for the days of the pool, for the committee, whatever days of the pool at this time. And it has to do with the pricing, of whether or not we had, correct me again if I'm wrong, whether or not we're going to be charging, or is it going to be a free event, et cetera. And you wanted to bring it to the manager's point for question.
Yes, whether it be free or fee for residents is what I wasn't sure which way we were going, and we were leaning towards, if you're Greenhills residents, the community day at the pool would be free for them. And I didn't speak to the manager.
And the question also was, how would we know?
Yeah, how we're going to present that, and how we're going to work that out.
Okay. And the discussion that we had with the Harvest Fest, we were really way ahead compared to any other year on that, and we're very pleased with the outcome that it's, right now we're getting all the information, and at this point, Ms. Hermes had a suggestion also for the points of collection. Would you mind repeating that to me? For the Harvest Fest, points of collection?
Just designating one person in charge, and that way, if anyone was taking care of it, that one person would be there the whole event, and that they would just check in and out if someone else had to take it over, but one person would have the sole responsibility, so it wasn't quite as confusing at the end of shift.
Yeah, because we had several people taking charge at different times, and they're just having one person at a time, so we need to discuss that in our next meeting. And Ms. Kovac, if you can make a note to that, we meet once a month, having to discuss how far we have gone into the preparations of that. We will want to discuss that at the time. Okay. And that's all I have right now for the recreation and the cable television. Thank you.
Comments or questions? Hearing none. Intergovernmental affairs, laws and rules. Anybody have anything?
I'm stepping in for Jack. Yes. The committee last met on April 24th, and the details of that meeting were reported in April 25th's council meeting. Just to cover off on those again, was we talked about indigent burial policy, email retention policy to be added to the employee handbook, and an amendment to our building code fee schedule. The first reading of the building code fee amendment is on tonight's agenda. No other committee action was taken. There was a cancellation of the May 22nd proposed meeting. The next tentative meeting is scheduled for Monday, June 26th at 4 p.m. And that concludes the Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules Committee.
Okay. Comments or questions? Okay, Service and Streets, Jeff Cavode.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Streets and Services last meeting was on March 13th, and I'm not sure if Jack read any of the meeting minutes at the April, but I'll just touch on some spots. As most of us seen, Elix has worked last week on running, it looks like, the cable out front of the shopping center and along the commons. I'm assuming the poles will then go up here shortly, and that'll be a nice look now that the project's come to completion. A couple other things, we talked about the banner pole out front. Mike was going to get some more breakdown on cost on that. We're going to rediscuss. That was tabled for a later date. And with the delay on the last phase of the Winton Road project, the street signs are now going to come back up to the front. We were kind of waiting to see what was going to be available with lighting and see if we could match those with the street signs, but now we're just going to push forward, and we'll have that meeting and kind of come to a design look, I guess, for the poles. I think the biggest thing is what the base is going to look like. Is it going to be a straight pole, or is it going to have some sort of design look at the bottom of it? Right now, the next meeting is scheduled for June 26th, Monday at 5 p.m. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Okay, any comments or questions? All right, Community Development, Jeff Halter.
Just a simple reminder that we now have a National Historic Landmark bumper sticker that will be available in the office. I think we haven't settled on a price, but it's not going to be more than $3. It might even be less than that. But so, if you're so inclined, cars and golf carts and trucks are all candidates for getting that out. But that concludes my report this meeting.
Okay. Comments or questions? All right, hearing none. Safety Committee, Melanie Hermes.
We canceled our meeting this evening as there was nothing on the agenda. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 25th at 5:15.
Okay, any comments or questions? You say 5:15?
Yes.
Okay. All right, moving on, new business, ordinance number 2017-06-LNR. Mr.
Yes,
Halbert.
I have. First reading by title only, ordinance number 2017-06-LNR, ordinance supplementing the Hamilton County Building Code fee schedule used by Greenhills with the addition of a fee for the construction of small porticos in the village.
Okay. Consider the first reading. All right, next resolution, number 2017-16-F, resolution authorizing increases for certain village employees. Mr. Dries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution number 2017-16F, resolution authorizing increases for certain village employees, whereas certain employees have not received increases since January 2016. Therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, State of Ohio, Section 1. Revised steps are hereby created for the positions of police lieutenant and police sergeant as indicated on Exhibit A to this resolution. An advancement from step to step is ordinarily on an annual basis, and as such, annual step-up, unless denied, shall become effective in the first pay period of the fiscal year following a satisfactory review of the employee's performance by the police chief. Movement to the next pay step will be based upon the recommendation of the police chief to the municipal manager as follows. A, in the last 2 months of a fiscal year, each employee's performance will be reviewed by their supervisor, who will submit a written recommendation for movement to the next step to this appropriate department head. To be eligible for such movement, the employee must have at least a satisfactory performance rating. B, the recommendation will be considered by the municipal manager, who either shall approve or deny such recommendation based on their determination whether such movement is generally within the best interests of the village as an organization, including but not limited to such factors as the financial condition of the village. C, if employee's movement is denied because of work performance or disciplinary issues, the employee will not receive a movement in pay steps until the next fiscal year, contingent upon an improvement in the work performance being documented. Section 2, council desires to provide the police lieutenant and the police sergeant with a 2-step increase as outlined in Exhibit A, effective June 1st, 2017. Section 3, council desires to provide the following employees with additional compensation as outlined below, effective June 1st, 2017. Municipal manager, 2%. Police chief, 2%. Finance director, 2%. Clerk of council, 2%. Section 4, council desires to provide the following employees with additional compensation as outlined below in the final pay period of 2017. Full-time patrol officer Patton, 2% of current salary lump sum. Part-time services employee Fails, 2% of current salary lump sum. Section 5, that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon adoption. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
And I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Comments or questions?
The final pay period in 2017, I didn't realize it was so late.
Okay, and I think the reason for that is we have to know what their full amount was for that time period before we can pay the 2% lump sum on that amount. Is that correct? Did I say it right?
Oh, I just figured it would be the past 12 months use that amount, but, so,
We were going to do it on actual.
for a calendar year, okay?
Just a couple of comments for the public. Everybody that is looking at an increase here, essentially there'll be 17 months without having any increase. All of them, everyone here is performing satisfactorily in their current job. There's nobody on a performance improvement plan. And just like every one of us would like a raise at work for doing a good job, and we believe our employers owe that to us if we're doing a good job, we believe that we want to keep and retain our employees, and we feel like they've earned it. There's room in the budget. It was planned for, and so this is the wishes of council at this time.
Okay. Any further? All right. Clerk, call the roll.
Cavode,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-16 passes. Next resolution is 2017-17-F.
Mr. Mayor, a resolution requesting information from the Hamilton County Auditor for purposes of evaluating and levying a tax exceeding the 10 mil limitation, whereas the Village Council has preliminarily determined that the amount of taxes which may be raised within the 10 mil limitation will be insufficient to fund the necessary services provided by the Village of Greenhills, Hamilton County, Ohio, and whereas the primary purpose and intent of such funding is for current operating expenses for the village as authorized by 5705.19A of the Ohio Revised Code, and whereas Ohio Revised Code 5705.03 requires the village council to obtain certain information from the county auditor prior to proceeding with the submission of a tax levy renewal to the electors of the village. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the Village of Greenhills, Hamilton County, Ohio, Section 1, that the village council has preliminarily determined that it is necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the benefit of the residents of Greenhills for current operating expenses for the Village of Greenhills as authorized by the Ohio Revised Code 5705.19A, Section 2, that the levy to be placed upon the tax list is a renewal levy. Section 3, that the village council hereby requests information from the county auditor related to the current total tax valuation of the village and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated by a levy of tax at a rate not exceeding 3.89 mils for each $1 valuation for 5 years. Section 4, that the village council seeks the information requested to present the levy on the November 7, 2017 ballot. Section 5, that the clerk of the village council is hereby directed to immediately certify to the county auditor this resolution and obtain from the county auditor the information requested hereunder. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Comments or questions?
I think the manager already spoke. This is a renewal, and this is just the opportunity to get the information so we can determine what it will raise and to put it on the ballot. This is about $188,000, I believe, that we use for the operation of the village, and it's an important component of our overall funding.
Extrapolating that out, what's the effective rate of that approximate amount? What's the effective millage rate? It says 3.98, but the real...
That one is closer to 3.89. The other renewal levy, that one is below the 3.28. But this one is close to the 3.89.
Okay.
And
Great.
how long has this been on the ballot, or on the, it's been, we've had it in place a long time, and it's a 5-year.
15 to 20 years, somewhere like that.
Okay.
At least, maybe longer. So those dates have blurred in my mind. Too many of them. Okay. Clerk, call the roll.
Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Cavode,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-17-F passes. And back when this was originally passed, we didn't have this extra step that we have to go through now, but just thanks to the state throwing more things at us to do, costing a little more, cost the county some more effort. And I forget what happened that made them do this, but it wasn't our fault. Okay, next thing is Resolution 2017-18F. Mr. Dries.
Thank you. Before I start this, I got a question. Do I need to read both sides of this, or just the front?
If we strike off resolution number 2017-18F and just call it the salary rate agreement.
Oh, yeah.
They put it on both sides of the page.
Yeah,
Well,
but
one's the agreement.
One's the agreement, and the
One's
the other is the
the
resolution.
resolution. Okay.
My question is, do I have to read the agreement also, or?
I do not believe so, since it says in here, it mentions per the attached.
Yep, okay.
Is that correct?
I'm actually not sure. Jeff.
How we have done it in the past is we have not had to read the
I-
entire attachment.
Right, I think it's an attachment. I just want clarification on it.
But we'll sum it up at the end.
Yes, we will. This is a resolution authorizing the municipal manager to execute an overtime rate agreement for a part-time spoils field worker, whereas an employee of the service department, David Huffman, works full-time in said department for the Village of Greenhills and also works seasonal hours at Spoils Field for the Village of Greenhills. And whereas it is appropriate to clarify the roles and to outline the compensation for the seasonal work performed, now therefore be it resolved by Council for the Village of Greenhills, State of Ohio, Section 1, the municipal manager is hereby authorized to execute the attached overtime rate agreement, which outlines the compensation to be paid to said employee depending on the work being performed. Section 2, this resolution shall be effective upon and from the date of passage. Mr. Mayor, I request that we approve I move to approve the resolution 2017-18F.
Got a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, please update the back just to say the overtime rate agreement, since that's what we called it in the resolution. In the back it says salary rate agreement, and in section 1 we call it overtime rate agreement. And Yvonne, do you want to sum it up?
Sure. We have, I think, 3 service employees now who work hours at Spoils Field during the ball games, and so we don't want to be paying them their current salary a time and a half. So we've established, in this case, it's minimum wage that individual would make when they're doing the Spoils Field work.
But it would be minimum wage at time and a half, since it'd be
Correct.
overtime hours.
Right. That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
It comes out to about 12.23 per hour.
Is that coded through the rec fund?
No, Spoils Field.
It's Spoils
It goes through the Spoils Field salary account.
Okay.
Any other questions? Clerk, call the roll.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Walther. Aye. DeVode,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2017-18-F passes. All right, calendar.
I'll go ahead and announce all of the Memorial Day stuff. The Greenhills swimming pool opens on Saturday. And then we'll also be having the Memorial Day celebration as outlined by Yvonne earlier. And then we also have May 31st is the first concert on the Commons.
And June the 7th will be the next concert on the Commons, which will include the car show.
That'd be June 7th.
And Jim Miller Day. June, what did I say?
June 7th.
June 7th.
Oh, okay.
And then June 10th is the bicycle rodeo at the middle school.
Anything else?
Streets and Services, 5 PM on Monday, the 26th.
I can also mention that June 23rd, OLR Festival, with June 24th being the Pioneer Day Run Parade, and then the festival.
Where did you get your calendar?
This was in our packets a while ago, and I keep it in there so that I can mention it at every meeting.
June 23rd is also the NHL dedication.
June
June 23rd.
Which is a
11:30.
Friday.
Correct.
At what time was that?
11:30 for the dedication
Okay, that's right.
on the Commons, southwest corner. Any park talks?
Next one is July 16th.
Anything else?
Mr. Mayor, I had a question that maybe should have come up earlier about, Glenn, were you working with the school district as far as parking goes with the new facility that's coming to Greenhills?
I've been a part of I'm going to butcher the exact name of, but it's like a design team. Yeah, and obviously one of the big deals is going to be traffic and parking.
It seems like we want to make sure we're having our say early when we can have a say, so I
Sure.
just was curious.
Didn't know you were coming in on Saturday. We have a correction on the talking with the manager date is the 15th.
18th.
18th, not the 15th.
Part talk?
Yeah,
talk.
I gave it.
July?
That's all right.
July 18th.
And that's a big burly park.
And community
Unless you want
development.
it on a Saturday.
Sure.
I don't know. The community development, it's July 13th at 5:15. The next one.
And the next recreation committee meeting is July 13th at 6:30 PM.
Okay, is that it? Hearing none, we're adjourned.
Feel like that,
Dave,
huh?
do I need to sign the minutes since you weren't here from that one?
I think that the weather outside is inversely proportional to how long our meetings
The
are.
last meeting minutes since I was meeting at him.
That's what I'm thinking.
So,
I agree.
Scratch out.